Shooting it raw?
Yes. Shooting it raw. There's this beautiful photo of you with a full beard. So it's inside a
dope
club.
Jacket. I like that jacket.
Very dope jacket. You're holding up a bottle of Prosecco. Yeah. How do I know?
Prosecco.
How do I Prosecco?
You could tell from that vague picture.
Yeah, okay.
You're an alcoholic, aren't you?
I only dabble.
Dabble in alcohol.
You've got an envelope under your arm. There's a very nice looking woman to your right. She has this nice bright smile. The photograph seems like it was just made like off the cuff by somebody, maybe at a reading. I'm gonna guess this is during the launch of your book.
It is not, but it is in the same space.
Okay.
So you're close it's a poetry thing. So like you're totally right there. I wish people gave me a bottle of champagne when I launched my book. So this is at Social Room.
Okay.
During our Peel Street Poetry, one of our nights. This was our, not our 10th anniversary. I think it was our 11th or 12th anniversary. And every November when we have our anniversary, we have a slam competition.
Nice.
It's our only slam competition of the year. And the format is you get 10 minutes and a prompt, you write something, you perform it. So it's not like off the dome, but it's pretty close,
nice.
Right? And this is the year that I won.
Wicked.
And yeah, which was because I placed final in like a lot of them, but I never won until this night. And this night was special to me for many reasons. That's Victoria. Now she is a regular goer to Peel Street Poetry.
Okay.
And she is probably one of my favorite performers and writers there.
Oh, nice.
She's so fantastic. She also writes about mental health.
Okay.
I don't want to share too many details about that because I feel like I should. That's for her to do.
Yeah,
but
that's her world,
she does write a lot about it. We have a lot in common, and she's a lot younger. And she has this amazing frenetic energy when she performs. And this night was the first night she'd come to Peel Street Poetry, and she participated in the slam. And her poem was about how we ignore people who have mental health problems.
Okay.
And we just turn away from them. We don't really pay attention to them.
Right.
But they are it's real and it's very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when she performed that, I was very touched because I felt like, this is one of my people, right? Like this is one of mine. And we're kindred like that, right? And then I went and I did mine, and it was some funny piece for the first round. There's only 2 rounds, and I passed it, whatever, got to the last 5 people, and then we were given a prompt, and I had like no idea what to write. Like I was like completely blanking on what to write because the first round took it out of me. And then I remembered her poem because it was the only one that actually hit me.
Yeah.
Because you know this as a creative writer, right? It is very easy to bullshit and no one will ever know. Like you can write something that you don't believe in, you don't feel, you don't care about, but aesthetically it looks good and people will never know, right? Okay. But there's like a certain authenticity. You can be true to what you actually say and believe it as well. And maybe people will tell, maybe they won't, right? So what she said really, really actually resonated with me. And I made this decision on the spot where I'm like, man, I never fucking win this thing. I'm not going to write a piece that I think is popular. Like, I'm not going to write like a crowd pleaser or like something that's just technically impressive or something. I just want this person and people like her to know that we're the same.
Okay.
And so I wrote my piece and I used lines from her poem.
Oh, okay.
As like a callback. I used the exact same lines multiple times as a callback to her. And I the poem is somewhere, and I don't remember the exact lines. I've got it somewhere. But when I was done, I went off, people clapped, whatever, and I was like, just kind of made peace. And I was like, yeah, okay, I don't win, but that was worth doing.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Like, I got value out of it.
Yep.
And then I freaking won somehow.
Nice.
And I found out later on that one of the judges said that it was the emotional honesty of the piece that was what made them want to do it. They said the other ones, some of them were technically impressive. That was honest and very powerful in that sense. And it was like a very important moment for me because firsthand, it's very validating. I got to win. You know, I got recognition, which is lovely. And I get to say I'm a slam champion, at least in Hong Kong, right? But I got to do it by being authentic and real about something I actually care about.
Yep.
And inspired by a person that like speaks the same language as me, because obviously that poem would never have existed if she didn't have the guts for her very first time to come to this event, to put herself out there and do her piece. It only exists because of her, right? So it's this, I guess, I don't know if I can fully articulate, but this is wonderful connection and power that came out of that. And it reminded me, it taught me a very important lesson that I sometimes forget, which is the most important thing I can do if I write something is to be authentic and true and try to reach people, as opposed to, because I do write funny stuff and I can write things that are just stupid crowd pleasers, so people laugh and it makes me feel good, right? But then writing stuff like that is more important.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a place for so long as it's authentic to what you're
just for me, by the way. For sure. This is literally how I see it for me. I don't judge other people for what they write. Like everyone has their own way of doing it. So it's not like my rubric for like this is how everyone should write. Fuck that. But like it's just for me like because I sometimes really struggle with what to write, because the whole thing, you write something new every week. That's a lot of freaking stuff to write, right? And I really struggle with when I'm feeling down, when I'm feeling insecure. Man, I just want to write something that like people are going to laugh and cheer and whoop and make me feel good about myself, like literally as a pick me up, because it's so addictive. Because I've had like a few performances where I've been lucky enough that people really freaking like it, and they kind of go a bit crazy in the crowd, and it feels so good. It's like the biggest high. And it's like I want to chase that high. But it's like, it's also, what's the point? You know what I mean? It's just purely like jerking off. Like I'm just making myself feel better. There's not as much value for me.
No. I completely appreciate that, and also, it's also what you need at that moment, right? So, for example, if you're younger and if you're at a certain stage of your life where you need social proof and all that stuff, then you kind of write to please the audience, and because you want to look good and you want to be perceived as confident or as good, all those things. And that's what you need, let's say, in your 20s and 30s. Fine. But then if you're doing the same thing until you're like 40, 50, let's say until you're 70, you're still doing that, you're just like, you're probably, if you're maturing and if you're a truly creative person, your brain is going to want to go into, or you're going to eventually want to explore other territories. So here we have this photo, which is just this sweet moment. And
she said it meant a lot to her, which was very touching. Like she came on me, she told me it meant a lot to her and she wanted a picture. So
which is great, because
it was a good night.
So as you're saying this, one of the things I think about is that it's what's astounding really about creative acts, right? So for example, math and the sciences and all this stuff is there for us to discover. So if Einstein hadn't discovered the speed of light and its relationship to energy, to energy and mass and all this stuff, it's there for somebody else to discover. But for you two to meet and for those words to come together and for you to go on stage and to put out into the world is completely unique. That is
it's magic.
Yeah, it is. It's totally magic. How shall we move on to the next? What's a segue to the next photo? How would you like to?
I don't remember what I gave you. I take a lot of medication, man.
Yeah,
and it just like eviscerates.
No. This is here's what I think.
No idea what I sent you.
That's great, because
so what it is
it's from your life.
Yeah.
And in your head is a supercomputer, and in my head is a supercomputer, and somehow when we meet and we see these prompts that are from your life, you're going to create the meaning and the revelation for me.
What's funny is like when I sent it to you, I like wrote like this paragraph for each one where I'm like, okay, this is why I'm sending it. This is what I did. And then you were like, I don't read this stuff. Yeah. I do it at the spot. And I remember reading that and being like, oh, that's so much better. I was like, that's so much better than fucking like me like planning out what I was gonna. So I like this more.
Here we go. Look,
let's. I don't even remember. Let's see what it is. Let's see.
So, is life really a gift? Really? Can you make every second count?
That's the whole point of the podcast. So if you like what you've seen and you're inspired, because that really is my mission, then please give it a like, subscribe, and share.
Shooting it raw?
Yes, shooting it.